Yo devs, Russ here. Welcome back to our Unity 6 Tips and Tricks Marathon. If you somehow jumped straight to this one, hold up, you're missing half the fun. Go check out part 1 first, the link is in the description. But you know what? You may first watch part 2, then go back to part 1 and then again watch part 2. I'm not against it. Remember, this whole video is about editor-only tips. No coding, no custom tools, and no asset store magic. We keep all this to the next videos, but only if you show enough love under this one. And hey, before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. Seriously, it's important for the YouTube, for me, and for your future game dev success. Trust algorithm gods. Alright, let's not waste any more minute. Grab your coffee, open Unity, and let's continue wrecking your mind with the next batch of tricks. The first one is hot. When you drag multiple sprites into the scene, Unity goes absolutely wild. It auto-creates a game object with a sprite renderer and an animator, sets up a fresh animator controller, adds a new animation clip, throws all your sprites in there as frames, and links everything up in a second. It's like Unity saying, relax, I got this. Instead of wasting time creating clips, controllers, or dragging frames, you get an instant one. It's perfect for checking your sprite sheets, quick prototyping, or just getting that feeling that editor finally did something for you for once. Level looking like your objects were placed by a blindfolded cat? Hold Ctrl while moving things in the scene view and Unity will snap them to the grid. No more pixel size gaps, no more seams or uneven tiles, just clean aligned geometry that actually fits together. You can even tweak the grid step size in the snapping settings at the top of the editor. Once you start using it, freehand placement will feel like chaos. This one's for precision junkies. Hold V, hover over a vertex of your object and drag it toward another mesh. Unity will snap that vertex exactly to the one you're pointing at. It's a small thing, but it fixes a ton of pain. No more micro adjustments, uneven walls, or props that almost fit together. Just pixel perfect snapping. I was surprised not everyone knows it, but here you go. Ever tried editing animation that is a part of an FBX file? Unity just laughs at you. That's because all the data that lives inside the imported file is read-only. But here is a trick. Select the object inside the FBX, click Ctrl D, and Unity will duplicate it right into your project as a standalone asset. Now you can modify it freely, adjust the materials, tweak animations, or turn it into a prefab without taking the original FBX file. It's like unplugging the USB. Now it's clean, safe, and open for editing. Ever downloaded the package from the asset store and wondered where the hell did it go? You can easily find them. Just go to this location and you will find your all packages that were bought and downloaded so far. And you can easily copy them, edit them, or bring them to another project. But remember not to share them, they are private. Here's the hidden gem. Right-click any asset in your project window and choose Select Dependencies. Unity will instantly highlight every asset that it depends on, materials, textures, shaders, scripts, all of it. And if you need the reverse figuring out which assets use this one, choose Select References in Scene instead. This will show every game object currently referencing it. It's the easiest way to clean up unused stuff or delete some assets from your project without nuking it entirely by accident. You don't always need to open Inspector just to assign a material. That's rookie stuff. Just simply drag this material straight from the project window onto your object in the scene or hierarchy. Unity instantly applies it to the renderer on that object. Works on multiple selections too. No digging through components, no extra clicks, pure drag and drop satisfaction. Perfect for testing looks fast or bulk applying styles to the groups of meshes. Got a component setup you love? Maybe it's your favorite camera, or particle system, or audio source tuned just right. No need to rebuild it from scratch every time. Click this presets icon, the tiny slider button on the component header, and click Save Current to the preset. Now you can apply that preset to any new component with one click. It's like templates for your component configs, keeps your workflow consistent and saves tons of repetitive setup time. Ever lost your player's spawn point, light marker, or trigger collider in the scene? Give it a face! Simply click in this icon square at the top of the inspector next to the game object name and choose any color or symbol. Unity will display that icon in the scene view, making it super easy to spot important objects. You can even set a custom icon by dragging your own texture in there, or picking one of Unity's built-in icons that also display the game object's name next to it. It's a small touch, but once you start color coding and labeling your key objects, navigating through the complex scenes would feel 10 times cleaner. Ever looked at your game view and thought, why the hell is this scene so heavy, or what's Unity trying to draw right now? The Frame Debugger is your X-ray vision into the rendering pipeline. Open it from Window, Analysis, Frame Debugger, hit Enable, and then step through each draw call frame by frame. You will see exactly how Unity builds the scene, what's drawn first, what's overdrawn, which materials or shaders get called, and how many times your GPU is being bullied. It's extremely useful if your game suddenly tanks FPS and you have no clue why, or you suspect overdraw, redundant passes, or hidden objects still being rendered. Or if you are optimizing shaders or transparency-heavy scenes. Frame Debugger shows you the truth, including UI, post-processing, and all particle spam, all this hidden stuff that kills your performance. Once you start using it, you will no more trust this simple scene at face value. By the way, since we're talking about performance, don't forget to use the profiler window, and this stats panel is also very handy. Need to make a quick cutscene, cinematic, or just sync animation with camera movement? That's exactly what Timeline is for. Open it through Window, Sequencing, Timeline. Create a new track and start stacking animations, audio clips, camera shots, or even activation events. It's a full non-linear sequencer right inside Unity. Perfect for cutscenes, intros, tutorials, or anything that needs precise timing. And since it works with Playable's API, you may extend it with your custom tracks later if you feel fancy. Yeah, script execution order, the nuclear option. Technically, you can use it to make one script run before or after another just by setting up the priorities. Sounds convenient, right? Well, not really. It's one of those features that feels powerful until it turns your codebase into spaghetti. Changing execution order creates a hidden dependencies between your scripts, and you'll forget about it in a week or two, and then good luck debugging it. It's a kind of a feature that saves you once and haunts you forever. I can understand why it's needed for some packages on Asset Store, because you don't know where your package would end up, in which mess, in which crazy big project, so you need to guarantee that it's gonna work. But in the rest cases, I guess it's just not needed. You were designing your level for the last hour and Unity crashed? Happens to the best of us, but if you just reopen it, all the changes will be gone. But there is a trick. Unity keeps a temporary backup of your scene in the library folder. Look for a file, copy it, rename to the extension of the Unity scene, and drag it back to your project. Boom! Instant recovery. It won't always save everything, but if you forgot to hit Ctrl S for 30 minutes, it will definitely resurrect your progress. It's a digital equivalent of finding 20 bucks in your old jacket. Alright, that situation, when you were designing level for 1 hour and Unity crashed, is on Unity, like it's not your fault. But what if you were designing this level in the play mode? Huh? Now it feels like kind of your mistake, right? And we already talked about one possible solution. Remember it, that you can drag and drop the stuff from the scene into the prefabs to store the stuff. But there is another solution. And as you know, the best solution is preventing such situation. So how to fix it for good? Go to the Preferences, Color section and change your play mode tint. It slightly changes the color of the editor when you enter play mode. A visual slap on the wrist reminding you, hey, you're not in edit mode, genius. Bright pink or toxic green, whatever you like, just make sure it's something that your future self can't ignore. Ever selected a dozen objects, then lost focus for a second, and bam, your selection is gone? Unity actually lets you save, load, and invert selection to stop that madness. In the hierarchy, open the Select menu in the top bar and you will find options like Save Selection, Load Selection, and Invert Selection. It's ridiculously handy for level editing, mass adjustments, or patch operations. Save groups of objects once and you can reselect them whenever you need. No more pixel hunting through the hundreds of objects just to find those few you were working on. Ever spawned a light or a prop and it appears somewhere in the void instead of where you're looking at? Just select that object and press Ctrl-Shift-F. Unity will instantly teleport it to your scene view position and rotation. It's a tiny shortcut that feels like sorcery when you're blocking out levels, configuring camera, or placing somewhere VFX. Stop wasting time dragging your objects through the scene, just point, press, and done. Tired of Unity adding those useless start, update, and half-hearted comments to every new script? You can actually edit the script template itself. Head to your Unity installation folder, go through Editor, Data, Resources, and you will find Script Templates. Open there this C# template file. Clean it up however you want. Remove boilerplate, add namespaces, default regions, or whatever fits your style. Next time you create a script, it will use your version, not Unity's kindergarten sample. Just remember that this template sticks to this Unity version, so if you're using one more, you will need to set up template there too. And if you're reinstalling, it might revert the changes, so save it somewhere. Now listen, I'm a huge fan of smashing Ctrl-Z and Ctrl-Shift-Z whenever I want, but Unity prepared for us a undo history window, which can show you all the recent actions you've done so far and a pretty nice user interface. Open it via Window, Undo History, and you will see a chronological list of every change. Object moves, property edits, deletions, everything. You can jump back to any exact state instead of spamming undo blindly. Although it's pretty useful, but I don't think I'm gonna use it. I would prefer the old good Ctrl-Z button, but maybe you will. At least now you have the choice. Ever duplicated objects in Unity and noticed how it automatically adds numbering to the duplicates? The cool part is that you can customize this numbering scheme. Instead of the default, you can rename objects using your own style, like with underscores, extra digits, or even just a simple number. Unity will keep this pattern for the future duplicates, so you can play with it and find your own style. Maybe it's not making your life a whole lot easier, but definitely making it stylish. Ever hit play, tweak a script, and Unity starts recompiling for a good few minutes, freezing your monitor? Yeah, that's a default behavior of Unity. As soon as a script has changed, it starts recompiling it, even if you're currently in a play mode, ruining your current test run. But you can change that. In Preferences, General section, there is a setting called Script Changes While Playing. Switch it to recompile after finish playing, and Unity will wait until you exit play mode before doing the compile. No more surprise reloads when you're deep in debugging. On the other hand, if you actually want to edit code live, there is a hot reload, a tool that lets you apply script changes instantly without stopping play mode. But it's a tool, so we'll talk about it in an upcoming tools video. So yeah, this setting basically decides whether Unity gonna ruin your testing flow immediately, or it will wait politely until you finish. This one is banger and a bit dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. In the project settings editor, there is an option called Enter Play Mode Settings. Inside, you can disable Reload Domain and/or Reload Scene. Doing that makes play mode start way faster, sometimes almost instantly. But here's the catch: Unity skips a bunch of resets it normally does. That means static variables or cached data won't get cleared before the next run. And that means that if your game relies on a startup initialization or a clean state, you may encounter some spooky bugs. It's great for UI work, quick iteration, or visuals testing, but risky for a logic-heavy system. So if something goes wrong, you know why. Personally, I prefer keeping both worlds, so I made for myself extra play button, which does this ultra-fast play mode entrance, and I keep the regular one just in case I'm gonna do a safe testing. I've met few developers who were keeping awful hierarchy just because they were afraid of this missing component in the animation. But don't worry, that thing is easy to fix. Animations in Unity are tied to exact hierarchy paths and object names they were recorded on. So if you named or rearranged something in your model or prefab, the animation just can't find its old references. The fix? Simple. Rename this missing component in the animation to match the new hierarchy path and object name. As soon as it matches, Unity will reconnect it automatically. And as you see, there is no need to reconfigure the whole animation, just fix the references. Working on a huge level and constantly waiting for full scenes to load? Don't torture yourself. Unity supports multi-scene editing. That means that you can additively load few scenes and edit them together. You can even go deeper with that, separating your game into logical chunks like lighting, environment, gameplay logic, UI, and work them independently without loading everything at once. Just open additional scenes via Open Scene Additive or drag them into the hierarchy. Perfect for big teams or solo developers dealing with large environments. Just simply load scenes that you need with the content that you're gonna work on, unload those that you don't need, or just log them. Basically, it's modular game development. Done right, it can help you avoid a lot of issues. If your hierarchy looks like Christmas tree on steroids, manually expanding or collapsing every game object would be a torture. Instead, hold Alt and click the little arrow next to a game object. Unity will instantly expand or collapse everything inside that branch. It's perfect for massive nested hierarchies, UI, menus, environment prefabs, or anything full of children and grandchildren. Saves time, sanity, and your mental healthness. Tired of Unity compiling entire project every time you tweak a small script? That's where assembly definitions come in. By default, Unity throws everything into a single giant assembly. When you change one script, it recompiles everything. With assembdefs, you can split your code into separate modules like core, UI, gameplay, tools, or even more. Each becomes its own assembly, so Unity only recompiles what's actually affected. This makes big projects load faster, code safer, and the dependencies clearer. You can even separate editor-only code or platform-specific logic for extra control. Especially use it if your project has hundreds of scripts, you want to isolate editor code from runtime, or you're building reusable packages or frameworks. It's just a bit of a setup, but once you try it, you will never go back into waiting for 5 minutes while Unity recompiling your entire life. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and there on Patreon. And if you have done it, well, create one more account and subscribe again. Drop a comment which one of these you didn't know, which one you are using already, and which one blown your mind. As I mentioned earlier, if I see enough interest, we'll move deeper to scripting and tool secrets. You know what, guys? All these tips and tricks are cool, but most importantly, stay safe and love your mom. Cheers!